lying to the Holy Spirit is equated with lying to God, which tells us that if lying to the Holy Spirit is lying to God, then the Holy Spirit must be God. Now, in all fairness, the fringe groups out there, such as the Jehovah's Witnesses that I'm fond of picking on, let me just pull up their version of the Bible. What they have to say is that, oops, I don't want to go there yet. There we go. What they have to say is that, and if you look at verse 3 of their version, Jehovah's Witnesses, jw.org says, but Peter said to Ananias, sorry about that, but Peter said to, let me try that one more time. There we go. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan emboldened you to lie to the... And we notice they got Holy Spirit in lowercase, and secretly hold back some of the price of the field. And then in verse 4 they say, as long as it remained with you, it did not remain yours, and after it was sold, was it not yours to control? Why have you thought up such a deed as in your heart? Look at how they translate it. You have not lied to men, but to God. Now, they are saying that the Holy Spirit is related to God, but by putting the Holy Spirit in lowercase, what they're doing is, and then we have to jump back over to regular versions to see this, what they're saying is that if you scroll down, and in all fairness, if you scroll down to verse 9, which is another summary to the count here, Peter says, how is it that you have agreed together to test who? The Spirit of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord. Behold, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out. So notice, Peter says in verse 9 that you're testing the Spirit of the Lord. So in all fairness to what the JWs are trying to emphasize, they're trying to say, and we can see this in their commentary, which I'll pull up for you. They say, let me just click on C so we can see it here. Acts 5:9. That you can see in their little commentary on the side here. The Spirit of Jehovah, the expression the Spirit of Jehovah in verse 9, or Jehovah's Spirit, occurs several times in the Hebrew Scriptures. Some examples are found, and they give you a lot of Old Testament expressions, locations. What they're basically trying to say is that the Holy Spirit mentioned in this passage is simply the Spirit of the Lord, meaning it's God's Spirit, not necessarily a separate person. Thus, they retain their perspective that the Holy Spirit is not a separate person of the Trinity with full deity. He's simply this impersonal force that God utilizes to accomplish His will and purposes among men and in the earth. So it's God's Spirit that Ananias and Sapphira are lying to. So much like Ariel's spirit, is not a separate being and person that's distinct from me. It's actually the spirit that resides within me. Therefore, it's my spirit. Therefore, to lie to me is to lie to my spirit. It's not necessarily two separate persons, as if you're lying to me and lying to my wife, right? Ariel's wife and Ariel's spirit are two separate kinds of differences when we're talking about possessive noun. Ariel's wife is a separate person, but Ariel's spirit is not a separate person. So the Jehovah's Witnesses theology is that God's Spirit is not the separate person. And I can understand again where they get this, because in verse 9, Peter says, you're trying to test the Spirit of God. He doesn't say you're trying to test the Holy Spirit.